big crowd this morning, but that's okay. That's okay. We know where our core is, and we know who we typically have out and about, and this is good. I want to start off by thanking Melissa and Café 125 for having us here and hosting this. We look forward to additional events throughout the city at other local businesses, and that's where we prefer to be, is at the local business locations. It's nice to get out and frequent some of our Huber Heights finest. Basically, we're out here this morning to continue to field questions that anyone might have, continue to provide some kind of fuel to keep this going, and encourage folks to get out, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. I want to put out today that I'm looking forward to doing a lot of walking. I'm ready to walk. I got a couple new pairs of shoes. I'm ready to roll in and wear out. And I want you guys to pass around to everybody you know that if they're interested in getting out and walking with us, we'll get out. I want to hit every street, every neighborhood, every area I can find. And I'd love to go with residents if possible. I think it's just a lot more fun that way. So let us know and spread that around. Richard, you got anything? I would state my position right now, but I think you all kind of know where we're at on that, I hope. I guess I'll restate the obvious, and the big ones is I think we're looking to establish a better connection between the residents and council here in Huber Heights. It's our belief that our council has kind of pushed our citizens to the back burner. They don't really care to hear what we got to talk about, and I think that's blatantly obvious in the recent meetings being canceled due to lack of agenda items. Because one of the agenda items that is always on every agenda is citizen comments. And if they're telling us that there's no agenda items or lack of agenda items, they're telling us they're not concerned with what the citizens have to say, because that's one of the first items on every agenda. So again, I think that's further proof that they're not interested in getting out and speaking with us. They're not interested in getting out and finding out where we sit, what we're interested in, and how we want to move forward in our city, because it is our city. Next, after interaction with the public, my big thing is probably pushing our infrastructure, the rebuilding of our infrastructure that's been sorely neglected recently. The only infrastructure the city seems to want to care to pay for is in one particular new development. I won't mention the name of that development. I think you all know. And the rebuilding of our parks and recreation. I think that's gone by the by way too much in recent years. If they want citizens out, they want citizens concerned and interactive with the city, we need places for citizens to go and get together with each other. As you've noticed, we've been working on a lot of local events. We've been getting involved with other folks to establish new local events. Jeff up at the Heights Café recently did the Rib Fest, which was very nice, and he's planning another one for the fall. We've got the Stuff the Bus campaign. We've been working really hard with Every Warrior Plays to push that. So there's another event coming up on the 25th at Texas Roadhouse. So we're looking forward to people getting out there. You'll find yours truly in the dunk tank first thing. So I took the clean but cold water position. I've already got a couple others on board. The mayor will be taking the dirty warm water position. And we've got Jay Minton, our head football coach and athletic director at the high school, that'll also be in there. We've got Coach Fern with the track team that'll be out there. We got Coach Trice with the basketball team that'll be out there. And I haven't reached out to them yet. I'm hoping they'll say yes, but I'm going to try to hit up both police and fire chiefs, see if they'll get in there. So let's get out to that event, make that one really successful, because as I've stated before, we need to work hand in hand with our school. Again, our councils for too long publicly made place separation between the city and the school. Whenever asked questions about the school, they'll take the stance of that's a separate entity, that's not the city, we don't have anything to do with that, we don't fund that. Well, as much as that may be true on paper, we still need to be interactive with those folks, because one does not succeed without the other. And we got to work hand in hand with the schools to find out what types of events, what types of projects both the city and the schools can take part in to kind of pull those two entities together and improve both. With that, I'll leave it, because I'm sure they've got plenty to say, and I could run my mouth all day long. But I'll let them speak, and then you guys can ask whatever questions you might have. Thank you. Nope.
Well, I guess I'll go next. For those who may not know me, my name is Richard Shaw. I'm the current candidate for Ward 1. For those who also may not know, I've only lived in the city 4 years. And I've had a lot of questions. People have brought up to me, you know, you're new to the city. Are you sure you're going to be able to catch up to speed on what's happening in the city? And my answer to that is yes. I'm going to be able to bring a creative response to our city with creative ideas and community outreach. And that's definitely where my position is. I've made no secret to the fact that I've engaged in the community with my interactions with Huber Heights Little League, sitting on the board of directors, coaching baseball, which I still plan to do afterwards as well, with the assistance of several community members with our Community Park Cloud Cleanup Day, which will happen again next year. This year we had a total of 71 volunteers, 10 business sponsors, and not one city tax dollar was spent. We collected 750 pounds of trash out of the park in just a matter of a couple of hours. And what was great afterwards is we had me and Glenn was there, and we had a lot of water left over that was donated, and peanuts that was donated. So we took those items over to the splash pad and gave them to all the people that was there. And it was just great to interact with the community just that much more. Another part of what I plan on bringing to the city is homeowner and business retention. As everybody knows, our city's population has been diminishing since its incorporation. Even though we're taking up more space in the city, our businesses and homes have been diminishing. I just pulled some facts out. Just in the past 15 days, a total of 7 properties have sold at foreclosure auction. The average price per property, $65,114. A lot of people ask, you know, why are my property values diminishing? That's a key component to it right there. Getting out to those homeowners and telling them that there are state, city, and county items that are available to help them retain their homes is a key component to not only building pride in our community, but also building our community up to where it needs to be and where it should be. The other thing is, right now currently there are 23 active foreclosure sales in the city right now that are scheduled to sell within the next 3 months. That's not even the facts that I already brought forth in the past 6 months, where at that point in time their average sale price was around $55,000. I would say, and again, I don't have the number total, but I could easily say, just from what I know and the research I've been able to provide, just this year alone, we've had over 85 active foreclosure residential sales. 23% of the businesses that are in this area alone in Ward 1 are currently sitting vacant. Some of them in this plaza right here where we're at. A lot of it is getting out and marketing to those individuals with their needs and what we can do as a city to bring them in here and flourish our business. And I really think that the Chamber of Commerce has definitely got a leg up on that, and I really think they have a good game plan, and I'm really interested to see what we can do once elected to City Council with our Chamber of Commerce to bring that one step further. As Glenn talked about, definitely the Stuff the Bus coming up on the 25th. We have a donation bin here today. We're going to take over with them. I know I've got several bags of items in there, and I know several of you brought some stuff. Definitely a great event to go out to. Another thing that I would like to talk about that's made some newspaper items is the fact that the 4 of us have been active visiting other city council meetings when our own city has canceled their meetings. We have totally visit right now a total of 4 city council meetings, with a 5th one planned on Monday in Vandalia. And at those city council meetings, we've had great interaction with the mayors, city managers, administrators, and definitely have got to learn a lot of new things that we can bring to the city of Huber Heights to not only make it run efficiently, but also to make it run better for the community. And that's definitely why we're all here. I'm not a professional politician, never ran for an elected office, and my goal is just to be more in touch with the community and to do what I can for them. So again, thank you all for coming out today, and this is actually our 6th event as a team, I believe, and I believe we have 3 more scheduled between now and November, so we hope to see you guys all out. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Richard. Good morning. My name is Rick Stan. I'm in Ward 6. Tell you a little bit about myself. I've actually been living in Huber Heights since 1965. Wow, that's a long time. went to Wayne High School, graduated from Wayne High School, went to Wright State University, lived on Alta Road, lived on Highbury, lived on Bellevue Court, lived on Wayne Gate, and now I live on Deer Bluff. So I've had the opportunity to see a lot of the city, know a lot about the city since I've been here, since it was literally before a city. And I've seen a lot of people come in and out. I saw a tremendous sense of pride when we became a city around about 1981. And ever since 1981, we kind of seem to be a little bit adrift. We don't seem to have that same sense of pride. We don't seem to have that same sense of togetherness, which kind of bothers me. As one of the other speakers mentioned, you know, the population is kind of plateaued. When I look at business development within Heber Heights, I hear a lot of press from the existing city administration, you know, come grow with us. We have a $500 million pipeline in businesses. We're doing great. So what I did is about a year ago, I filed a public information request with the city, and I said, you know, could you summarize for me, please, all the incentives and you know, and grants that we've given to businesses, and then on the other side of the ledger, please, you know, lay out the benefits that we've received, because I'd like to see if in fact we've done the right thing and it's made economic sense from a taxpayer perspective. And strangely enough, that request was not filled because I was told that information doesn't exist. So what's our takeaway from this? Our takeaway from this is that while we have city officials telling us, you know, come grow with us, we're growing, it's a booming community, we're expanding, if that were really true, our taxes wouldn't have gone up when we voted for the incremental income tax not that long ago. We wouldn't have seen a levy for the fire and police. Because the whole point of growth is to generate incremental tax base and revenues so that you don't have to go back to your citizens and ask for more money. So there's clearly a disconnect here. And you know, what I've noticed in particular over the last 10 to 15 years is a revolving door with the city manager. You know, I'm not sure what that number is. It could be 10, it could be 11 in the last 12 or 13 years, but whatever that number is, it's really a bad number because we don't have the ability to consistently plan and execute when we have that kind of turnover in a key city position like city manager. Consistency is everything, and if we want to attract businesses to Heber Heights, I think that we've got to be able to demonstrate consistency and discipline and actually have a plan that is not a changing plan as every year goes by. You know, we've had Bench Rock. Bench Rock was a mess. We had the Heights retail development. Well, that didn't pan out. So now we have the music center, and you know, I think everybody wants us to be successful, but that remains to be seen because it's inaugural season. So what do I bring to the table? My background is finance. I worked in finance ever since I got out of college. Financial planning, financial reporting, financial analysis, debt financing, you name it, I've done that. And I see a lack of these financial skills with everybody behind the dais at the council. And I'm looking for the opportunity to be of service to my fellow citizens, to give them the benefit of my financial insights and my financial expertise, because I think that that's something that is sorely lacking within the current environment. I was talking with my Labrador retrievers this morning. I have 3 of them. One is 12, one is 7, and one is 2. And the 2-year-old's finally getting to the point now where he's settled down, so that's a good thing. So when I call my Labrador retrievers, they all sit there and they look at me while I talk. When I go to city council meetings, I don't get that same perspective. No eye contact, and they don't appear to be listening. So I guess my takeaway for this morning's brief conversation is that, you know, we as council members need to be like Labrador retrievers. We need to establish eye contact, and we need to listen, because I think we can do a better job. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Janelle Smith, and I am running for Ward 2 for Heber Heights City Council. I want to apologize because I'm a little under the weather. I'm I'm about 7 days post-op from a rotator cuff tear. It was a complete tear, and I've not been feeling very well. But I'm here because I think it's very important, not only to support my team, but to get my message out as well. And I agree with every single one of these gentlemen here. And some of the things that I'd like to talk to you that brought me to consider running and actually going through and following through with running is that I don't see any accountability in our city, whether it be with our staff or with our council members. I feel that there needs to be an open door policy, and I feel that emails or phone calls should be returned. And I'd like to ask you all, when was the last time your representative has asked for your opinion? And that's what I would like to bring to the table. You know, my opinion is just that, it's just my opinion. But a good representative is one that goes out and they ask questions to their constituents, and they want to know what your feedback is, so that when we go back to the table and we cast that vote, we're casting that vote on what our constituents want, not what we want. And I want to make sure that I get as much feedback from my constituents or anybody in the city. It doesn't have to be just Ward 2. As a representative, I think we are a representative for the entire city. You know, we are here for everybody, not just a ward. And fiscal responsibility is a big one for me. And another thing that kind of got me interested is I'm not saying that our council representatives are bad people at all. I think that they did a good job in their time. However, a career politician is not something that I advocate for. I advocate for term limits. Those who are in office for 30 years or more, it can make you become very complacent. And that is what I have seen in our city, is complacency. I see a sense of entitlement of, I am this titled person, so therefore I'm entitled to do this, or I'm entitled to have that. My representative even called this town, this was her town. No, it's not. This is our town. And it's time for the chart of where we all are. The people are at the top of the chart. We pay our council members to listen to us. And for a very long time, the roles it seems, have been a little mixed up. And it seems like our representatives and our city staff are on the top, and we, the people, are on the bottom. And it's time to change that and make the people on top of the chart and listen to the people. What kind of message does it send when we vote, or we have our elected representatives that we voted in office vote for projects that completely turn out to be a failure, that our city can't afford? For bench rock, these same people that some of us are running against have been here since the beginning of the time that the city became a city in 1981. So these are the same individuals that were voting for good sports that didn't come in, that cost our money, our city money, in a $280,000 shovel-ready pad, $170,000 for an access road that Good Sports was supposed to have taken up. It's cost us $150,000 less because TJ Chumps had in their contract that if a sports facility was not built within 2 years, then the $600,000 that they were supposed to pay goes down $150,000 because our city did not follow through with what they said they were going to do. I've gone back and I looked at how many times there's either been on legislation or our council has talked about a downtown initiative project. There's even a legislation on it. But guess what? Nothing's been followed through. And we need to see some follow through here. And just because we may not agree with the next person or one council representative or another, that doesn't mean that we should be completely shut out. I'd like to see this community reach out to, I'd like to see our elected officials reach out to the community, pull our community together again, bring back the integrity, bring back our pride. And that is what we are here to do. We are not going to allow our friends to get the majority of the bids. We are going to play by the rules. There's rules in the books, and they're there for a reason, and it's to protect the community. And competition breeds excellence. And when we aren't out there looking for bids that are in the best interest of the city, then we are not representing our constituents the way that we should. The other thing that I'd like to just say is that I, as well as these gentlemen here, will protect your tax dollars money as if it was our own, rather than just wasting it as if it was somebody else's. We need to establish a solid partnership with the Chamber of Commerce because they are the first place that businesses go to come here, and we really want to economically grow our city. We don't need to be in the seasonal entertainment business because that only gives part-time jobs for just a small portion of the year. And people cannot support their families on just seasonal entertainment jobs. I am still looking forward to the Heights development. I know that when it was in its conception, our council representatives had told the residents that it would bring in $1 billion in 30 years. Well, I've spoken to our city manager and I've asked me in meetings, well, what do we have coming in here? What is, this big promised land that we had that was supposed to be like the green, but better than the green? That is now fluid. That's no longer it is in the works, but council apparently has now said that they don't have any control over that. So my feeling as a representative, if I have the pleasure to represent you, I don't see a need to continue to spend $50,000 just to do a study to say if we should or shouldn't do this, and then not follow through with what the recommendations are. And I think that is wrong. I would like to see our representatives work together as a team. I would like to see our representatives not give the community the impression that there are backdoor meetings going on. And I can tell you for one that not long ago I was at a council meeting. It ended quite early and I was outside standing speaking to a couple people, and I'm very observant, and I watched my council members, except for Tyler Starline and Tracy Dudley, The rest of them ran out of the and our mayor. The rest of them ran out of the city hall building so quick that anybody outside would have caught notice, because it was as if there was a 4 alarm of fire at somebody's home. And I just happened to drive home, and I live north, so on Old Troy Pike, I watched them all drive right into TGI Fridays. And so I decided, I had heard that this was going on before, so I decided to stop in and see. And according to our charter, if there are 5 council members together, that is considered a quorum. And when I walked in, there were 6 council members and an assistant city manager. And what bothers me is, I don't mind if they want to socialize, but let's do it in a way that it doesn't give the city or the residents the impression that there's more going on than what there really is. We need to be on top, that's where the integrity plays in. And if you don't have anything to hide, then let's just do it in the open. I am very disappointed in the amount of administration meeting and public work meeting and council meetings that have been canceled due to lack of agenda items. Now, I could understand if they wanted to cancel Tuesdays for National Night Out, but say that and not say that there's a lack of agenda items, because each time that they cancel these council meetings, we have 5 minutes to speak, and when they shut down or cancel those meetings, they are basically censoring our 5 minutes of citizens' comments. And I don't want to see that happen anymore. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to communicate with my ward members and anybody else in the city. I am open to listen to any kind of feedback, whether it be good or bad or ugly, because that's how we learn. And we're here to listen to you because we care. And that's what I'm here just to talk to you about. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
All right, well, that's a little bit about each one of us as a team. And about, I want to say, almost close to a year now, it's that we had put ourselves together as Team Huber, as a group of 4 citizens running to better the city of Huber Heights. It has actually come to my research, and Glenn, correct me if I'm wrong, but this has never been done in the city before. There's never been a unified stance to unseat half of the governing body of the city of Huber Heights. And we have an opportunity not only to make history within the city, but also to give the city back to its citizens.
Yes.
And that's what our whole goal is here to do, and we have an opportunity to do that in November with what is now seems to be, according to the new ballot, that could be potentially a record voter turnout. So I guess to say that definitely get out the vote. If you're not registered to vote, we have done a video to help you in that matter, to show you what ward you live in. Definitely check out our Team Huber Facebook page, direct you to our YouTube channel to get that information. So at this point in time, we'll open it up. If you guys have any questions for each one of us or all of us together, definitely we'd love to hear them. We're available on Facebook, by phone, by email, by website. About every day we're out and about in the community. We're always visible. I think our names are on almost each one of our cars. So if we're driving down the road, you're going to see us. So we're definitely here. We're definitely here to hear what you have to say, not now, just later in the future. So again, if you guys have any questions, we'll be more than happy to hear them. No particular, you guys can stand up and shout them out. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, it's my understanding we have 2 city managers.
1 city manager and 2 assistant city managers.
Are they
3.
assistant?
Yeah, we have 1 manager and 2 assistants. So
Why do we have 2 assistants?
that's a great question. It's my opinion that instead of having 2 assistant city managers, maybe we should have an economic development director.
Yeah, just You know, so you're gonna have two managers next time, or
Right.
two mayors, or God knows where does it stop at?
Right, absolutely, I agree. We need to focus on some other things. I think the intention is that these assistants wear multiple hats, which is all well and good to a point, but if you're hired for a specific purpose, you need to excel at that specific purpose, in my opinion.
I don't know where you live at, but why isn't it that people that are voted into office required to live in Huber Heights?
They are. The elected officials do have to live in Huber Heights.
It's
Now,
staff.
your staff members are not required as
Yeah,
such.
like-
The only member of Huber Heights city staff that's required by charter to live within our city is the city manager.
All right.
He does not, by the way. The city charter requires the city manager to move within our city limits within 6 months of accepting his position.
How long has he been in that position?
That charter requirement has not been enforced.
What's your thoughts on the last thing, then somebody else could jump on it? I walk in the morning about 3 miles around the neighborhood.
Okay?
What's your thoughts on, and I requested information from the city manager like 2 years ago, I never got a response, is where cars block the sidewalk. Now, keep in mind that the city just paid thousands and thousands of dollars to go have every corner with some ramp or some mumbo jumbo. But yet, it doesn't matter that someone with a disability has to go over the grass, over the curb, down around the street, back up. That don't mean nothing. Kids going into school in the morning, gotta walk around the car, go down in the street, come back up, that don't mean nothing. But, oh, it's important to have this corner. And lived here in Huber Heights 47 years. I haven't seen one person in a wheelchair in 47 years going down Taylorsville Road or Shoal Road or anywhere.
If I could answer that, I will tell you that it is against the law to block the sidewalk with your car. I do know that personally, one of my neighbors did get a ticket for having their car blocking that sidewalk, so that whether it be in the winter or, because we do have some people in our area that have wheelchairs and they do a lot of walking with their dogs or to the walk park, and it's hard for them to, to maneuver. And I have a lot of empathy for those people that are, that have disabilities that can't just walk around as
Yeah.
easily. But I do know that the police department does try to enforce that when they can, but that they have so many other things that they're looking for that that's not probably one of the top priorities that they have at the moment. If they see it, they're gonna stop and they're going to take care of it. And I've seen it happen. The only thing that I would suggest that you do is if you see that and it's troublesome for you or your neighbors, you should call it in and then let somebody do a drive-by and they can get a warning. I mean, we don't have to go for the throat every time because a lot of people don't realize that that is a law. So if you just educate them, they would be more than happy. If they're in their home for 5 seconds to grab something and they block their driveway, okay, give a little bit of a lenience. But if they're parked there for hours and hours or days and days and blocking that, then that's a different situation. But I would suggest that your residents or your friends that are having that problem, call the police department and they will help you with that.
I would say, adding to that, that our biggest issue with concerns of that nature is the simple fact that our city relies on, I'll call it tattletale enforcement, where they don't actually get out and look for things of this nature because, quite honestly, they're really understaffed in a lot of areas. Our Public Works Department, which is headed by Mike Gray and his guys, do an excellent job with what they do. Mind you, they are pretty understaffed and it's really tough for them to keep up with a lot of things. Zoning department, again, is not loaded with individuals to get out and stay on top of those types of things. And I think the issue there is that the focus with our leadership now has pushed money in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a Parks and Rec department anymore. That's been outsourced to the YMCA, and I'm not sure we're getting any value for our dollar there. And I think we need to bring that focus back to the city providing those services for us. We could move forward once those departments are better funded and get a little bit more active enforcement and educating people. Like Janelle said, a lot of folks don't understand what some of these regulations are, what the zoning requirements are. And truth is, even if you have a bush that extends or a tree that extends over a sidewalk, that's a violation. That needs to be cut back. You need to provide a clear path for folks to walk down the sidewalks.
But you have somebody that goes around and puts signs up to cut grass.
Right.
Have the same guy walk around 11 to 7 in the morning, put something on your windshield. Don't do this no more.
Sure.
If you could, before you leave, if we could get your information, I'd love to come out and take a look at what you're talking about and see if maybe we can maybe talk to the residents there. Maybe they don't know what the ordinance is, they don't know what the charter is. Maybe we can educate them and work it out.
Matter of fact, I'd like to hook up with you in the morning. If you go out walking, I'll go walk with you.
And honestly, I like.
3 miles.
I can do that.
I like your suggestion because then it takes that off of the police department. If the zoning can just slip a little piece of paper, because our police department is really taxed, with the entire city and then the music center and, other things that they have to do. So I think that's a fantastic suggestion, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I'm sorry, do you have a question? Do you have a question? No? Okay.
First, a statement. I've lived here almost 40 years, and I've heard everything you guys have said from prior candidates, years and years. They're going to say the same thing you are because they weren't elected. So, I realize you're telling me everything they're doing wrong. I don't want to know. I know that. I've known it for years. I want to know how you're going to change it, just not what needs done either. That is important to me. It's important to my community. Every inch of this community is important to me. I see so much going on that needs, where people need to know how it can change, what they can do to help change it, not that it needs changed. You talk about the police being over, not enough police, all right? Are you basically telling me we're gonna have more taxes there? That's what I'm hearing. But wait,
She's not.
I'm just talking about all, there's just so much out there to give. So, with that in mind, because I don't want to take the stage, I did read on some of our sites that we have regarding the marijuana. I am totally against it in my backyard, but I saw that some of you are totally for it in your backyard. I want to know why and what you think that will do good for this community, because I'm not talking about any other community but Huber, and I want to know why.
Well, let me,
Can I jump in for a minute?
please, go right ahead.
Let me talk a little bit about your comment that people say whatever they need to say just to get elected. And there is some truth to that. But all 4 of us, none of us are politicians.
Why not?
We all have a passion to do what is right for the city as a whole, not for the few. Because we're not professional politicians, we don't owe any dues to special interests. Because we're not professional politicians, we're going to be very focused on listening and doing what the people of the city want to do. And if you're willing to support us, and I do mean all of us, we need that help to fundamentally change the direction of the city council. This is the first time in decades that we've had the ability to fundamentally change the direction of council. Just electing 1 or 2 people here and there may or may not help, because we have a situation where council is consistently voting 7-1 on many issues, and there's no discussion. Each of us are individuals, each of us have a separate perspective, but I think at our hearts we all want to do what is right, and we're not interested in doing this as a career move. We're looking at this as providing a service and giving back to the community of Huber Heights that's given us so much.
I want to speak to the last question you had. I think this is, I think it was a great question because it really highlights something that we've been stating from the very beginning. We are 4 completely different individuals. You are absolutely correct. There are 2 of us up here that have said that we are fully in favor of this. And I would be willing to guess that they may or may not be on the same page. And I think that, if you guys would like to, I don't know, what's your thoughts on the marijuana issue? Because I know you guys haven't stated it.
Well, you looked at me first, so, so I'm still gathering information on it. What concerns me most about this proposed legislation is whether or not a monopoly is going to be established within the state of Ohio to run this. And if that's the case, then I cannot support a monopoly. I don't support monopolies in any business. So, I need to dig into that and learn a little bit more.
Okay, as far as me, I have not made a stance one way or another yet because I have not done my due diligence and looked in. I haven't read the bills. I realized there were 4 bills. 2 of them got denied. So I haven't read the other 2 bills to know exactly what is in it and what does that mean for we the people and the city and the community. I will tell you that I have a brother who lives in California. He's much older than me, who is prescribed medical marijuana because he had a kidney transplant, and there are specific rules and regulations to be able to be accepted into this. And it wasn't something that he smoked, but he did it in a different form because, of course, it also takes you off of the transplant list because it's very, very detailed. He did the oil, I think, or maybe the edibles. So I am looking at him, and I know that he was in a Dr. Oz article book specifically on this person. And once I get a better understanding of what's happened in Colorado, what's happened in other states, I would kind of like to do some comparison on how it's working in other areas. What has it done to our police force? Has it made it worse? Has it made it better? So there's a lot of questions that I have that I just can't answer that one right now because I'm still looking into what does that mean for our city or for our community.
Well, what do you think personally?
I apologize.
Personally?
Personally?
My problem is in my backyard, I'm gonna have my neighbors smoking it out back, having picnics. I'm gonna have people up to how many plants are they saying? 4
I want to
plants
say
in a
it's
house?
4.
Per house.
Right.
All right?
For personal. Yeah.
So this is a personal,
Well, it's both.
2
There
parts
are-
of it.
because
yeah.
there's 2 different ones.
Yeah,
So
you can't
let me say
personally-
this. I would be more inclined to vote for medical marijuana, but for Colorado, for across the board to say anybody,
And that's how this one is.
no, I would not vote for that. I don't agree with that.
Now, I'm actually going to hit both your questions here real quick. Your first question is, you hear the same song and dance from everybody, and you're going to hear it nationally, across the state, county, and local ones, and we understand that. But not only as a team, but as an individual, again, what I say is what I'm going to do, and I can back that up. Another situation where to do that is I've been advocating for the past year, with Glenn and my teammates here about parks, and I am here today to let you know that I intend to donate half of my annual earnings as a council member directly back to the parks, because I'm that advocated for them. You're not going to see any other incumbents or your current council members go to that extreme. Again, my money. And I treat it just like your money. And I believe before we start building multi-million-dollar hotels or financing a development, we need to take care of our community and our parks. So that hopefully answers your first question. And again, I'm going to do what I say. And I can put the proof behind that, with not only my time as with Huber Heights Little League, down at Community Park, down at Cloud Park, just in the city alone. I'm present, I'm here, I do what I say I'm going to do. Number 2, it's literally, I think within maybe 3 or 4 minutes of the news breaking, I put it out on Facebook, and I did. And I support the amendment 100%. Am I going to grow it in my backyard? No. am I going to tell my neighbors that they should? Am I going to encourage them? No. And I'm going to tell you why I support it. I support it because, again, this is a historic situation where, unlike Colorado and other states, they had the precedence of having the medical marijuana before recreation. So they got to lay that foundation. The state of Ohio has an opportunity to do something no other state has done, which is pass them both at the same time. My thing is I believe that the citizens will have the vote, and it's going to be their decision. I plan on voting yes for it. I plan on supporting it. I think it's got a great deal of benefits for our veterans and for those medically who need this. Recreationally, I think it's going to take a lot of governing from the state and local levels. And that's where we as a team can come together and govern that as it should be and move forward.
And to the what we say and how do you know we're going to do that, I'm with Richard on this one. I think that I have already proven myself from that standpoint. I have been highly involved with this city for many, many years. I have been extremely involved in youth sports around the city with holding board positions in multiple organizations, serving as a member of the Ordinance Review Commission for the city. I currently hold a seat on the Board of Zoning Appeals. Andy and I's days and nights and weekends are constantly spent with community activities. That's just what we do. That's what we enjoy. That's where we're at. We are fortunate. Over the years, we have developed a very small business here in Huber Heights that is self-sufficient and provides us with enough income to take care of ourselves and allow us a little bit of time and dollars to get back to the community. And so again, for me, I've already walked that walk. It's not a matter of will I do it. I've already been doing it. I'm going to continue to do so. And to the marijuana thing, I understand where you're at on that one, and I know where Rick's at on that one. With the potential of the monopolies, the only thing I have to say there is I would rather get halfway to the finish line than not even start the race. We got to start somewhere if we're going to do this. To the dangers or downsides of marijuana, I know you're coming from more of a law enforcement end of it, and okay, maybe not so. But I can say that I've done a lot of research in the past on a lot of different things, and marijuana is one I've certainly studied, and I've in my past, we all have histories, and I've known many who have used. And to be quite honest with you, I would rather have or be around folks who have been smoking than who have been drinking a lot, because it's been my experience that drunks get out of control. People smoke too much marijuana, they raid Taco Bell. It's really, I don't think it's that, I don't think it's going to have the major impact societally that some may think. I think there's been a lot of misinformation put out through the years, and since the Prohibition in the early 70s, it's been tagged as a terrible thing, a gateway drug and all that, and I just believe that's all false information.
And that kind of tagline on Glenn, there is a meeting coming up at the Miami Valley Career Technology Center with the Chamber of Commerce, and we both plan to be there.
Oh, I've already been to all those.
Okay.
I have.
Well, this is the group that's holding is actually against it.
Right.
Yeah,
And I'm willing to go and listen to what
they're
they have
the
to
ones
say.
that want to get it passed, to wait for that while, get it
Yeah.
passed where it's different.
Right.
You're talking about alcohol. Once you come, every time you drink, you need a little bit more to get that same thrill. It comes that with marijuana. Eventually, marijuana gives them nothing anymore. So we have to move to something stronger.
That's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
I disagree, but that's me, okay?
Okay.
And I think you're saying it's a great thing for Ohio, right? It's a, what was the word you used?
I mean, mine,
Yeah.
it's historic, is what it is.
It's historic?
It's going
because we're
to,
gonna allow
I mean,
people
not
to
only the
smoke?
economic growth that's going to come out of it, not only the tax dollars that will come from it, and again, I mean, again, it's a hot topic, and as we said from the get-go, as a team, we're all not going to agree, and what we do is not going to agree with those who are going to vote for it. But the fact that we're coming out and saying this is our stance, you know it. And,
we're not gonna
and the
sidestep.
citizens know it. You look at some of the other individuals that are running for council, they're gonna hide what they want. They're not gonna tell you where they're at. And that's not what your representative should do.
You ask them a question, they're gonna give you answers like Jan Bargo gave at the League of Women's Voters thing, where she was asked,
I know.
me and the other two were told yes or no, yes or no. Bargo got her chance, she provided no yes or no answer. It was a totally non-answer of, well, I'm gonna leave that up to whatever the citizens. No, you were asked a question. You'll notice they will sidestep the question all the time.
And I know that.
People are gonna disagree with me on a million things.
I know they're not, they're good folk and everything, but I know
Right.
also they don't need to be in there anymore. They've done whatever it is they're gonna do. They can't answer why they want to get in my pocketbook.
Right,
And
right.
I've gotta know why you want it and how much you wanna take out of it.
I want to
I
take
don't-
less
I
out of
don't wanna
it.
take any
I think
money.
this city can
I-
operate on less than 2.25% income tax, honestly. I think we can do it on 2% or less.
Say, I like that answer.
And the fact that we've actually had conversations that with the recent levy that was passed, the renewal, is actually something that we as a sitting council can actually take back to voters and give that money back to you.
Sure.
So, these are things that we can do to not only, take less of your tax money, but also to spend the tax money that we're getting a little bit more efficiently.
Have you guys talked to council and to see if they'll set up a meeting?
Oh, yeah. Many,
Just like
many
this meeting right
times.
here and the other 6 meetings that we've held and the other 3 that they're open to public.
They were invited.
Okay.
We
And then-
encourage them.
And then last thing, being we're not having meetings, why do we need a council, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious, so why do we need you then?
Well,
I mean, why do we need you? I won't say your
yeah,
name.
if they're not gonna get out and have meetings and interact with the public, then there is no point, I agree.
Well, if I could just get back to one thing that Ms. Clark had asked, and I appreciate you asking this. When it comes to the medical marijuana, what concerns me is the fact that they rave about all the taxes that it's going to bring into the state. And what concerns me is that all of the lottery money that was supposed to be brought into the state, into the schools, where's that money? So I really need to make sure that, this is really truly what it says it's gonna do and not just blow smoke, through rosy glasses and not follow through. So that concerns me. As far as me, and I agree with Richard, running for city council is for me a volunteer. I've been a lifelong volunteer since I was a little girl. I don't expect to be paid for it. And I know that we get a $300 paycheck for it. And I know that he's gonna donate his money to different organizations. I personally am going to be donating mine to the Food Fish Pantry each month because they need it. They service the lowest poverty people in Huber Heights, and it stays directly in our community, and those are the people that I want to help.
And I plan to lottery mine to local nonprofits, be it youth, sports
vets?
entities, or, yeah, but it has to be a Huber Heights-based entity.
Very good.
And
It won't be going to.
And it's a public servant, not a public sponging. So that's why I feel that, somebody else could use the money. I appreciate, and I would be more than happy to represent you, but I don't want to take your money. That needs to be given to somebody who could use that.
A lot of entities could use a few $100 a month to help out their cause. and
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's where I'd
I'll
like to
jump
see
in
it.
for a couple minutes.
Sure.
And so, this whole area of how we're spending money and how much money we're spending. It's a very interesting situation. I've spoken before council now for 3 to 4 years, and usually when I speak before council, it's a financial or a budgeting area. For example, about 1.5 years ago, I reviewed all of their contract bidding for approximately a 2-year period. Interestingly, I came up with $13 million in contracts which weren't bid competitively. And when I shared that with council, it was kind of like deer in the headlights. Wow, how did you get that information? And I said, You gave it to me.
Yes, I
Okay.
remember that.
And at a later meeting, when we continued to discuss this, the attorney for the city basically said, and it's not a quote, it's a paraphrase, well, maybe we didn't really phrase the words right in some of these contracts. At which point I just started shaking my head going, no, it goes beyond that. Okay, there needs to be some substance. We just have a very, very high need for financial competence in city council. And, you know, not to ring my own bell, but that's what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to tell the people of this community whether or not they're playing smoke and mirrors with dollars and revenues and expenses or not. It's
Right.
past due. We should have been doing this years ago.
Absolutely.
Nobody's been watching the bartender at the bar, and the bartender's been mixing his own drink, so to speak.
Mhm.
And I can help you fix that. My wife said, why are you doing this? You know, you're not gonna be making a lot of money. You don't own any businesses in Huber Heights. You're not a career politician. And I said, exactly. I said, I'm doing this because I want to give back to my community, and the
Yeah.
way that I can do that, and the best way that I can do that is to leverage my skills as a financial manager for the benefit of the city of Huber Heights and for the taxpayers, because I don't believe that we're spending money in the best possible way.
And we
Amen.
appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And again, I, you know, in the louis of time and the fact that we want to appreciate that Janelle showed up 7 days. What's that?
I would like to make a statement.
Oh, please.
Okay, my name is Andy Otto. I'm Glenn Otto's wife, and I've been actively involved with all of them. I support them. I believe in them. And yeah, they're going on the platform of Team Huber. That's not just Team Huber there. Team Huber is you and you and you. Team Huber is growing citizen by citizen. And this is something that is very exciting. The engagement that we've had, the interaction that we've had through, oh gosh, the past year is just so hopeful and so exciting that it just drives us to do more and more. And I thank you all. I thank you all for letting me be part of this, to letting us be a part of your lives and you being a part of our lives. And I really just want to see this grow. This is the citizens Huber Heights. So, but thank you. I applaud you all. So.
And I just want to just clarify again, because I don't think I answered Mrs. Clark's question completely. You're right. We all in the city know what's wrong, but we need to know, everybody needs to know, what are we going to do to fix it? What are we going to do that our other representatives haven't been able to do? One thing I believe, and this is a motto of mine, you need to put your aces in your places. And what I would like to see change is that we hire an economic developer. I think that we need to shake up some staff a little bit, and they may not like to hear that, but that's what's best for the city. When you have city staff that are wearing 5 or 6 different hats, you can't do each job to the fullest potential that you can. We are not Chicago, we are not New York City. We don't need 3 city managers or assistant city managers. We could use that money in another area. And that's what I'd like to say. Right now, I would like to see an economic developer that has experience be hired in, not somebody that's a friend or not somebody that used to be a police chief, but somebody that has the experience, that can work with the city and bring in businesses and develop the area and revitalize the areas that are becoming blighted in the South, because it seems like we're just leaving the South End, and we need to pay attention to the South End because they are also our residents and they are also our community.
And again, I want to thank the 3 members of Team Huber that's here with me today, and thank you guys for coming out here today. And definitely, again, thanks to Café 125 for letting us have it.
Oh, yeah.
We've got several more events between now and November. And again, I know I speak for myself, and I'm sure the rest of Team Huber. Don't take what we say for granted at all. Don't take the information we put out for granted. Go out and do your research. November 3rd, you have a choice. Use your voice. Make it known. Tell your friends, your family, get out and vote. If you want to walk with us, let us know. If you want to walk on your own, let us know. We'll give you stuff. We have stuff galore to give you. And again, to the other members of council that are running, we invite them at any point in time to any of our events. We're on Facebook. Like our page, get up-to-date information, email address, website, our phone number's out there. But again, thanks for coming out today.
What's your next event and where and?
The next event should be planned next week, and we're going to release that on our Facebook page. We don't have it solid set in stone. We know that we have events with the Senior Center, the local VFW, the local fire union has invited us out.
Yes.
So we definitely have a lot of events coming up, and we'll definitely get that information out to you.
We have a couple other businesses that are wanting to do something.
And plus, we're at the farmers market almost every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
We'll be at the Marigold Festival, the community movie night tonight. So we're always out.
Yeah, we're out there.
Yes.
We want to be seen. We want to be public. We want questions. I mean, that's the only way we're going to get communication going and figure out where everybody stands and what everybody really wants. We need questions.
And I appreciate what your wife said, because Team Huber, that's a great concept, and I want us all to be, but I don't vote straight ticket.
Right.
And a lot of
Oh,
my
absolutely.
friends, I don't want them thinking to vote that way.
Right.
We want individuality, and that's why I like each one of you with your names and stuff on. And I think that's what our community needs to see. You're Team Huber in the sense that we want to bring this community together so that everybody is a part of it. Yet, I'm an individual here for you. We don't think alike, we're not going to do alike, we're not going to meet for lunch on a daily basis, we're going to work with each other even when we disagree.
Yes.
Yeah, and if we, the old saying is true. If you can be in concert 80% of the time, you're doing a good job.
Absolutely.
And that's what we kind of hope to do, is kind of be on that plane with most people most of the time. We're not going to be there with everybody. We're not going to be there with each other all the time.
And I don't like seeing that all the time. I like seeing you at different places.
Well, because that's what we see right now on council. They're always together all the time, which tells you that it can't be. That's not possible, except for one. I'm sorry, Joe. I
has no
consider
friends.
you a member of the house.
He even sits by
You're an
himself.
independent voice, but
We had to pay
Team
that guy
Huber-
to sit with him.
Team Huber is not going to be on the ballot, Terry. You're right. They're not on the
And you need
ballot.
to tell people this, because.
We're on the ballot.
you
And we're
know.
here to support, like Andy said, Team Huber, which is the city and its residents.
Cool beans.
All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for coming out.
Thank you.
And again, vote November 3rd. That's all we can say.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.